Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. And like I promised in my last video, here's my leftover pour. And I used the Artline honey. I will show you in a second, the bottle or the packing. Like I said, it's a leftover pour and I wanted to see if I can achieve the flower with this resin, because so far I've only used it for the web effect or for the seashell technique, and there it is, the Artline honey. And yeah, I wanted to see if I can achieve a flower with the leftover pour. Normally I'm not filming my leftover pours. I very rarely do this, but this time I thought I try to do it. Anyway, you see me pouring the resin very slowly into the mold. There are a few air bubbles and there are a few bubbles trapped on the bottom, so I carefully need to pull them up. But as you can see, the resin really thickened up and I'm quite positive that I can achieve a nice flower, but I will see. So now I'm taking the torch and I'm just popping the bubbles which are on the surface. Always takes a little bit till you have your resin ready and prepared for your pour, but anyway. So I'm using here the S size of the Geode Tray Mold from MoldsandShapes. I link Artline resin and MoldsandShapes. Of course, also Octopus fluids, because these alcohol inks are from Octopus fluids. I link everything into the description box, and so also Eta Art products. So just have a look. As you saw, I dropped 2 drops of the carrot into the center. Well, I thought it was the center, but then I saw it's not quite the center. So sometimes your view is not so good, and then this happens that you are just miss the center, if you know what I mean. But it doesn't matter. With these 3D bloom, I think they are quite forgiving with stuff like this, and it's okay. So my next color is the fuchsia. I think you say fuchsia in English. We say fuchsia in German. So I'm dropping a few drops around the orange. And recently I'm using a lot of alcohol inks as well for the 3D blooms. It's a difference with the resin inks and the alcohol inks from Octopus fluids. The alcohol inks give more a softer design, and the resin inks really give a very nice and very vibrant color. So this is a difference. Anyway, I'm sorry because I just do the voiceover and I have the window opened and there came not a police car, how do you say, an emergency. So I hope that there's not happening anything bad. Anyway, you saw that I was carefully swirling a little bit my colors, my alcohol ink, and in the center I designed a little bit of a bloom, and in between I have the orange, and this is what I like about the alcohol inks. So anyway, I mixed my white. I have here 20 grams of white. I used 2 drops of the pigment drops in white and a little bit of the carrot sand. I really love to pour or to add the carrot sand at the moment into my white. It gives such a beautiful off-white, and it's not so bright, and I really like it. Anyway, I'm now doing my spiral because I think it's the easiest way to create the most beautiful flower designs, but this is something you can do however you want to do it. I just adore the spirals, and especially when the resin is getting thicker, I think I get very beautiful results, especially with the leftover resins. Anyway, so I did my spiral and now I'm just thinking about how can I do my design. Do I do the classic design? I also need to take the dotting tool just to smoothing out my center a little bit, because I don't want a big blob. And you can already see that the white or whitish color is already sucking the resin, the colored resin. And this is what I find fascinating using alcohol and resin inks. So at the moment I'm doing just the classical flower, just going from the outside to the inside. And I'm very happy how it's at the moment staying like it is. It's not moving so much. Of course, I'm hoping that still moving, that I get really nice petals. But I'm very positive that my white is not dropping down. So yeah, fingers crossed it's really like this. So these petals are done. And then I make another bunch of petals, because I love this design with many petals. But people who know my channel know that I like this kind of flower design really the most. So I'm really taking my time. I didn't make my video faster because I think, you know, sometimes it's important for you to see what I'm actually doing. And you see that I'm stopping just before the center, that I didn't go with my dotting tool when I do the smaller petals, not right to the center anymore. So I think this is looking pretty good. But then I thought maybe this design could be a little bit too boring. And then I decided to take my dotting tool, and you know where the orange starts, see? That I'm pulling, a little bit above this. Sorry, I thought I already did this while at the orange petals, but a little bit above the orange, I'm just taking my dotting tool and I'm, just going from the inside to the outside with a little bit wavy lines. For me, it's almost like meditation when I'm doing a 3D bloom, really, you know, thinking about what can I do maybe slightly different than in the videos before, or is there another way? And like I said, for me, the best way it works with the spiral. I get the most beautiful results with this. But of course, you can do so many other techniques. So today I was actually also pouring another flower. And I'm very curious how this is going to work. I know already that the center didn't close. So I'm talking now about another pour, but it doesn't matter. But the outside looks amazing. So I need to think about how I can do my back layer, because it needs a back layer. With this pour, I will decide later if I'm gonna do a back layer, but at that point, I was almost thinking just to leave it like it is. But I had still a day to think about it. And now you see that I'm also, drawing a little bit more the center, just to have also a little bit interest in the center bit. And then I couldn't leave it. You see it in a second. I'm gonna swirl, but I'm only swirling very, very briefly. But you see that I'm still doing my design. And now I pulled the orange. See, I knew that I did it. But now there's a ever so slightly spiral for the center. Just one turn and that's enough. So you see that really the flower is blooming very, very well. And I take you down for a close-up so you can have a look and see. I think it's looking gorgeous. Of course, I'm hoping that the resin still can move a little bit. But with the Artline Honey, I've never done a flower. So and it was already very far, but you never know. Maybe, sometimes you go away for 10 minutes and then, like there, something happened, it closed. So this is good. This is really good news. So now I prepared my resin for the back layer. I have here the Aquamarine, a resin ink from Art. I mixed into my resin and I'm pouring this into the center of the mold. I thought, like a bluish turquoise color might be nice with the pinkish color of the flower. It also matches the orange, so I thought a very happy, summerish pour. And then I have here the Interference Pearl from Art, and I'm just, pouring this on top of the Aquamarine. The resin I used here is also the Artline Honey for the crackle effect, because I thought just pour with the same resin the whole thing. And now the resin hopefully moves nicely, but we will see when I demold. So anyway, time for demolding next day, and the resin really moved very nicely, and I adore to make the crackle effect just with the pearl and with an acrylic ink or an alcohol ink or with a resin ink. You always get nice effects. So anyway, let's have a look. I'm so curious. I was really curious. And look at this flower. It almost looks like a sea rose. Do you say a sea rose? I really adore this. I love the colors. I love the shadings. And yeah, I was so blown away. And this is from a leftover pour. So never throw away your leftover, because you never know what you're gonna get pouring a 3D bloom. You really get beautiful results, and look at the 3D effects. And I think the back layer is perfect for it. So anyway, with this, I love and leave you. I thank you for watching, and please take good care of yourself. Bye bye, guys.